I am Hercules Mulligan, up in it, loving it. Yes, I heard your mother say, hey guys. So yesterday I expressed my concern about the lyric 9 in the afternoon. What does that mean? I still don't know what it means, but some people from Spain, in fact, I should figure out who this is to credit them. Ian Alvarez let me know that in Spain they typically have dinner at 10 p.m. and they still consider that the afternoon all the way up until then, and then they have like a little bit of time that they call evening. However, I don't think that's a justification for 9 in the afternoon existing, because that's a translation. Whoever translated the words from Spanish to English decided what the word for afternoon was, and just because they only have one word for all those times doesn't mean that it translates to the English afternoon. That's just the best translation we have. So really their concept of an afternoon is entirely different from that of the English concept of it. So I would still dispute that there is no such thing as 9 in the afternoon. Also, 21 Pilots isn't even a Spanish band. I mean, Panic at the Disco. I always get those two confused. But yesterday I got so upset about this whole 9 in the afternoon thing that I forgot to do an episode of Rhyming. Or I did an episode of Rhyming, but I didn't have time for it. So here's yesterday's episode of Rhyming. Enjoy. This is gonna be Rhyming. Howdy y'all. Today's rhyme is Easter Island Head. Now Easter Island Head rhymes with, geez, there's my lid Jeb. It's like when you're talking to your brother, Jeb Bush, and you're George Bush, and you're talking to your brother Jeb, and you're talking about your lid to the peanut butter that he left somewhere, and then you find it, and you're like, geez, there's my lid, Jeb. This has been Rhyming. Anyway, so I did some cubing today. I actually did a lot of cubing, but I didn't break any personal bests. I feel like I was just a little bit distracted the whole time, so I wasn't super concentrating. And then I was listening to my Glass Cannon podcast as always. I stopped listening to it at the end though, and I did 15 minutes of solves, and those solves were better. So I feel like for some reason I was more distractible today, and the podcast was interfering with my cubing. Or maybe it just took me a couple hours to get warmed up. But hey, I'm still going at it. Still gonna keep that CT going. This party doesn't stop. This Chris train don't stop. Maybe I could have switched back if I stopped a while ago, but that Chris train has sailed. In my film class at school, we have this project to basically just make a film 6 to 7 minutes about whatever we want, and our teacher said that no group ever before has done a successful horror film, so naturally my group decided to do a horror film. I'll keep you updated on that, and maybe you'll get to see some of the filming process. I just ordered a couple new lights, because a lot of the film's going to be done at night, and lighting is pretty important, so we need to have lights so that we can position them just right to make it look like it's still dark at night, maybe like moonlit, but not too bright. So you need more lights even if you want to use less light in the shot, because it's more about then their positioning rather than their brightness. Because I have two of these little lights, and these ones, they're great. They insanely bright, but only two of them isn't enough to make a well-lit horror film. The conversation about that horror film went like this. Hey, here's a suggestion for something we can do that's not a horror film. I was thinking we could do a horror film. My family has a cabin in the woods. Great, let's do that. If you're gonna make a horror film, it's always helpful to have a cabin in the woods. Even if it's like a sci-fi space horror film, there's still probably gonna be a cabin in the woods. But yeah, that's about it for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.